I never thought I'd be the guy posting something like this, but here I am. My name's Mike, and I've been with my wife, Lisa, for about 8 years now. We got married 3 years ago, and honestly, everything seemed perfect at first. We were planning to move into a new house in the suburbs, a fresh start. We'd been excited about it, talking about how we'd finally have that backyard for the dogs and a nice, cozy space to grow old together. But lately, things started feeling off. Lisa, been more distant than usual, snapping at me over small things, canceling plans last minute and brushing off my questions about her day. I figured she was just stressed with work or busy with some girl stuff she never wanted to tell me about. I trusted her, I really did. But I noticed small things. Her phone seemed more glued to her hand than normal. She'd hide it when I came near, and there were a few odd messages she'd quickly delete or leave in her notifications. Then came the weekend we were supposed to move into the new house. We'd been planning this move for months, counting down the days. We even scheduled a big weekend crew to help us pack and set everything up. But that weekend, Lisa suddenly got called into work, which was weird because she's a freelance graphic designer. She can work from anywhere, and she's never canceled plans like that before. She told me she'd be home late on Saturday night, and I didn't think much of it. I figured she was just stressed or had a client emergency. What I didn't know was that she was already lying. That night I decided to check her phone out of pure instinct. Something felt off. Maybe it was how quick she was to hide her notifications, or how she'd been acting more edgy around me lately. I never normally snooped like that, but I couldn't shake the feeling. When I unlocked her phone, I found messages that made my stomach drop. There were texts from someone named Jake, a name I should have recognized, but I didn't. The messages were flirty, suggestive, and explicit. They talked about meeting up, about how much they wanted to see each other. She was planning to cheat on me right under my nose. I couldn't believe it. My mind spun. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. I read her messages again and again, trying to process what I was seeing. She was talking about sex with him, how she was bored with me, how she wanted to try something new. And the worst part, she lied about working late, lying about everything while she was probably with Jake, probably fucking him. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just a slip-up, it was an affair. I'd always suspected she might have some secrets, but seeing it in her own words made it real. It was like everything I thought I knew about her, about us, was a lie. I didn't sleep that night. I stayed up, staring at her phone, trembling with anger, disbelief, heartbreak. I kept asking myself, how could she do this? We were supposed to be building a life, a future. And now I was staring at proof she wanted to throw that all away for some guy she met through a friend. The betrayal cut so deep I didn't even know where to start. I kept telling myself it was just sex, that maybe she was bored or felt neglected, but deep down I knew it was more than that. The next morning I knew I had to confront her. I had to hear her side, even if I already knew what it would be. I was a mix of rage, sadness, and a desperate hope that maybe, just maybe, I was wrong. But I was. I knew the truth now. And I knew that my life as I knew it was about to change forever. The moment I saw those texts, my mind went into overdrive. I felt a surge of anger and betrayal so intense that I almost couldn't breathe. I couldn't keep quiet anymore. I had to confront her, Lisa. I waited until she was in the kitchen, pretending to be busy with breakfast, but I knew she was fidgety, avoiding eye contact. I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself, and then I just blurted out, "Who is Jake?" At first she looked surprised, then annoyed, like I was bothering her while she was trying to avoid something. "What are you talking about, Mike? I don't know any Jake." I pulled her phone out of my pocket and showed her the messages. Her face instantly changed. Her eyes widened and she looked like she'd seen a ghost. "That's not what you think," she said hurriedly, trying to snatch her phone back. Her voice was defensiveness, but her hands were shaking. "It's nothing, just some stupid text, that's all." "Nothing," I repeated, voice rising. "You're planning to meet this guy and you're telling him you want to fuck him, that you're bored with me. How is that nothing?" I felt my hands trembling too, but I couldn't stop. I needed her to explain herself. Why were you doing this? Were you ever planning to tell me?" She looked away, then started with the typical bullshit. "You're overreacting, Mike. It's not a big deal. We're just talking. It doesn't mean anything. You're so paranoid, always accusing me of stuff." Her voice was sharp, dismissive, like I was the crazy one. but her words felt hollow, like she was trying to convince herself as much as me. I could see her trying to deflect, trying to minimize what I'd seen. She kept insisting she was just stressed, that she never cheated, that it was just sex talk, that she'd never actually gone through with it. But how could I believe that after reading those messages? The way she was lying, the way she was dismissing my feelings, it was so typical of her. She always had a way of twisting things, making me question my own sanity. But I knew what I saw, and I knew I wasn't crazy. I told her I was done, that I couldn't do this anymore, that she had betrayed everything we'd built, and there was no coming back from this. She was furious, yelling that I was overreacting, that I was being hysterical, that I didn't understand how tired she was, how stressed she was, basically everything but an apology, but I wasn't listening anymore. I'd already lost trust, and once that's gone, it's like trying to fix a broken mirror. It's just shards scattered everywhere. That confrontation was only the beginning. The emotional fallout hit me hard. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach repeatedly. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her texting Jake, her sneaky, bitchy smirk when I caught her, her lies piling up. It was like I'd been living in a dream, and now I was in a nightmare. It wasn't just the betrayal that hurt. It was the realization that the woman I loved, the woman I thought loved me back, had been lying to my face this whole time. I kept asking myself how I missed all the signs. Was I blind? Was I that naive? And what hurt the most was feeling so stupid for trusting her in the first place. The woman I'd married, the one I'd wanted to spend my life with, she'd been cheating on me all along, right under my nose. And for what? A few minutes of sex, some stupid thrill. I couldn't understand her, I still don't. But I know I can't keep pretending everything's okay. I just don't know what to do next. After that morning, everything changed. I didn't want to be around her, but at the same time, I couldn't just walk away without a plan. My mind was racing, trying to figure out what my next move should be. I spent the entire day in a fog, going over everything I'd seen, replaying her lies, her dismissiveness, her bitchy attitude when I confronted her. She kept insisting that this was just a stupid mistake, that she was confused, that she didn't want to ruin what we had. Yeah, sure. That sounded like every other bullshit excuse I'd heard her use over the years when she wanted to get her way. By late afternoon, I'd made up my mind. I wasn't going to let her walk all over me anymore. I knew I needed to get some proof, something concrete, before I even thought about talking to her again. I started digging through her emails, her social media accounts, anything I could find. I wanted to know how long she'd been playing me. I found some more messages, more flirtation, more plans for secret meetups. It was clear she'd been sneaking around for a while now. I also found out she'd been talking to Jake for months, not just a one-time thing. Jesus. That night I sat in the dark, just staring at my phone, feeling like a fool. I didn't sleep again. Instead, I made a decision. I'd gather more evidence, confront her properly, and then decide what to do. I wasn't going to get played anymore. I was sick of her lies, her bitchy attitude, her nothing's wrong responses whenever I called her out. I realized I'd been blind for so long, convincing myself everything was fine. But now I saw it plain as day. She didn't love me anymore. She hated me. Or maybe she just hated the life we'd built and was looking for some stupid thrill to fill the emptiness. The next day I started planning. I needed to catch her in the act, or at least get her to admit what she'd been doing. I decided to secretly record her. I bought a small voice recorder, nothing obvious, so I could catch her when she thought I wasn't listening. I also set up a few hidden cameras around the house, just in case she tried to deny everything again. I wasn't going to be naive. I knew she'd try to spin her lies, but I wanted proof, something that would shut her up once and for all. That evening, she came home from whatever work she'd been doing. She looked annoyed, typical bitchy Lisa. She snapped at me when I asked how her day went, brushing me off like I was a nuisance. I kept my cool, pretending everything was normal. Then I casually brought up the topic of her phone, saying I'd like to see her messages just to clear the air. She hesitated, then handed it over, making a show of being done with all the secrets. That was my cue. I activated the recorder subtly and she didn't notice. Over the next hour, I sat in the living room pretending to watch TV, but I was listening. I caught her talking to her sister about Jake, saying she was tired of Mike, that she needed a new way to get some excitement. Then she started talking to Jake himself, telling him she couldn't wait to see him again, how she'd make sure he never forgot her. I heard every word. It was worse than I expected. It was like a punch in the gut every second. The amount of shit she'd been hiding, the blatant lies, the bitchy attitude, everything fell into place. I felt a mix of rage and heartbreak. I wanted to scream at her, to shake her and ask why she did this. But I knew I had to keep it together. I waited until she went to bed, then I pulled out the recorder and played the entire conversation back. It confirmed everything I'd suspected. She'd been lying to my face and cheating on me during what was supposed to be the most important weekend of our lives, the move into our new house. That night I felt numb. I stayed up again, staring at the ceiling, trying to process what I'd just heard. All the feelings hit me at once: the betrayal, the anger, the deep sadness. I knew I had to end this, but I wasn't sure how. Part of me still loved her, but another part knew I'd never trust her again. It was a waking nightmare. I realized the woman I'd married wasn't the woman I thought she was. She was someone else entirely, someone manipulative, bitchy, and completely selfish. And now I had to decide what my next step would be. The next morning I woke up feeling like I'd been run over by a truck. The weight of everything hit me all at once: her lies, her betrayal, the proof I had in my hands. I sat there, staring at the wall, trying to figure out what I was supposed to do now. The trust was gone, completely shattered. I kept going over the recordings, the messages, the way she had lied to my face for months. It was like a betrayal on every level. I knew I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. Not anymore. I had to confront her again, but this time I wanted to be prepared. I decided I'd give her a chance to come clean, but I wasn't going to let her manipulate me again. I wanted her to be honest, or at least try to be. I called her into the living room, her face awkward, knowing she was probably sensing something was coming. She looked defensive, like she already knew I'd caught her. "Lisa," I said calmly but firmly, "we need to talk. I found your messages with Jake. I know everything. The texts, the plans, the sex talk. I know you've been cheating on me for months, so don't lie to me now, just be honest." Her face changed. She looked furious, annoyed, like I was ruining her day. "Mike, you don't understand," she snapped. "It's not what you think. I didn't mean for it to go this far. It was just sex, a stupid mistake. I was tired of pretending everything was perfect. I needed something different, something to fill the void. It didn't mean anything. We're still married, still in love, right?" I stared at her, incredulous. "It's not just sex. You're planning to meet him again, talking about making sure he doesn't forget you. How can you say it doesn't mean anything? You're lying to my face, Lisa. I saw the messages. I heard what you said last night. You don't get to pretend this is just a mistake." She started yelling, calling me paranoid, possessive, insecure. She accused me of not giving her enough attention, of being controlling. Her words were venomous, trying to turn it all around on me. "You think you're so perfect, Mike. You're boring, you're dull. Maybe if you paid more attention, I wouldn't have looked elsewhere." I felt my blood boil. I'd had enough of her bitching, her lies, her manipulations. I told her I was done, done with her excuses, done with her bullshit. I told her I didn't want to be married to a woman who lied and cheated behind my back. I told her I was going to leave her, that I'd already started packing my things, that she could go to her lover Jake if she wanted, because I wasn't going to be part of her game anymore. She was furious, screaming about how I was overreacting, how she still loved me, how she was just stressed and confused. That's when I finally snapped. I said, "You don't love me, Lisa. You never did. You just wanted to fuck around and have some stupid thrill. Well, I'm not going to be your fool anymore." I grabbed my keys, told her to pack her shit, and walked out the door. I didn't look back. I just felt a mixture of relief and crushing sadness. That day, I felt like I was walking into the unknown. I knew I'd probably never trust her again, and honestly, I didn't want to. The woman I thought I knew turned out to be someone else entirely: selfish, manipulative, and unfaithful. The betrayal hit me hard, but I also felt a strange sense of liberation. I was finally free from her bitchy attitude, her lies, her games. I realized I deserved better, someone who wouldn't treat me like shit or lie to my face. I spent the rest of the day packing, trying to get my head straight. I also reached out to a few friends who told me I was better off without her. It still hurts, but I know I'll get through it. I just wish I could send her a message, tell her how much she fucked up, how she threw away everything we had for some stupid affair. But I won't. I know I have to move on. I can't let her define my life anymore. Looking back, I see now that people reveal themselves when they think no one's watching. Lisa's true colors came out in her lies, her bitchy attitude, her selfishness. I learned a lot from this, about trust, about lies, and about knowing when to walk away. I don't regret finding out the truth, even if it's painful. Sometimes you need to hit rock bottom to find your way back up. After I left her apartment that day, I felt like I was walking in a daze. The house was empty now, the silence heavy and deafening. All the plans we made, all the dreams of our new life gone. I couldn't believe how quickly everything unraveled. The betrayal was one thing, but the way she lied so effortlessly, so bitchily, made me feel like I'd been living with a stranger all along. I wasn't just hurt, I was furious. But deep down, I knew I'd made the right decision. Staying with her would have been a daily reminder of how she just used me, how she played me like a damn fool. I spent the following days trying to piece myself together. I went through all the evidence I had, her texts, the recordings, the emails, and I kept asking myself how I didn't see this coming earlier. How I was so blind to her bitchy attitude, her manipulations, her constant dismissiveness. Maybe I was too comfortable, too trusting, and that's what she used against me. I realized that I'd been letting her walk all over me for too long, convincing myself that she was just stressed or busy with work. But now I saw her for what she really was, selfish, manipulative, and completely unfaithful. In the weeks that followed, I made a conscious decision to focus on myself. I started going to the gym more, reconnecting with friends I'd ignored, and even talking to a counselor. It wasn't easy. Every time I saw a couple walking happily, I'd get hit with this wave of bitterness and sadness. But I also felt a strange sense of liberation. I was finally free from her bitchy attitude and her constant lies. I didn't need someone like that dragging me down. I knew I needed to rebuild my life from scratch. Meanwhile, Lisa tried to reach out to me a few times, mostly with weak apologies and excuses. She said she was confused, that she still loved me, that she never meant for it to go this far. But I didn't respond. I knew her words were just her trying to manipulate me again. I wasn't buying it. The trust was gone, and I didn't want to go back to someone who'd lied and cheated so blatantly. I wanted someone who would respect me, who wouldn't bitch at me or treat me like I was invisible. One thing I did realize through all this was how toxic her attitude really was. That bitchiness, her lying, her passive-aggressive bullshit, it was all part of her personality. I started to see how much of my life I'd wasted trying to keep her happy, when really she was just looking out for herself. The more I thought about it, the less I regretted walking away. I felt like I'd finally taken control of my life again, even if it hurt like hell at first. Now I'm just trying to move forward. I won't lie, sometimes I get overwhelmed with anger or sadness. I wonder if she ever really loved me, or if I was just a convenience to her. But I know I'll get through this. I've learned how to trust my instincts more, to see the red flags before they become disasters. If there's one thing I'd tell anyone in a similar situation, it's this: don't ignore the signs. Don't let someone treat you like dirt and then tell you it's your fault. Because at the end of the day, you deserve better. You deserve honesty, respect, and someone who actually loves you for who you are, not who they want you to be. Looking back now, I realize that losing Lisa was one of the hardest things I've ever gone through, but it also taught me some crucial lessons. I used to believe that love and trust were enough to keep a relationship solid, but this experience showed me that betrayal can come in many forms. Sometimes from the person you trust the most, hiding behind a bitchy attitude and lies. I learned to pay attention to the little signs, to listen more carefully to what people aren't saying, and most importantly, to value myself enough not to accept bullshit just to avoid being alone. It's crazy how someone can look you in the eye, act like they love you, and then turn around and betray you so coldly. Lisa's lies, her manipulations, her attempts to make me feel guilty. Those things will stay with me for a while. But I've also realized that I have the power to choose who I let into my life. Trust isn't given freely anymore, it's earned, and only by people who show they're worth it. I still feel the pain sometimes. I miss the version of her I thought I knew, the girl I married, the girl I thought loved me. But that girl was just a shadow, a mask hiding her true self. Now I see her clearly. The betrayal was a wake-up call, and I know I'll come out of this stronger. I'm more cautious, more aware of red flags, and more determined to find someone who genuinely respects and cares for me. To anyone out there who's going through something similar, don't ignore the signs. Don't settle for someone who dismisses your feelings or treats you like an option. You deserve honesty, respect, and love that's real. It's not easy to walk away from someone you've loved, but sometimes it's the only way to save yourself. Because at the end of the day, your happiness and self-respect matter more than anyone's bitchy attitude or fleeting pleasure. Keep your head up and remember, you're worth more than lies and betrayal.